Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. McKenna Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, McKenna Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, McKenna Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And good morning, Manitoba hockey fans. Welcome into episode 17 of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Terraco Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. I'm your host, Graham, the gshow.ca. Thank you for tuning in on this Monday. This episode coming out 2 days later than it was supposed to. I've been having a weird problem going on with OBS, which is the software we use to stream, which allows us to put graphics up and to edit everything in the way we do. And yeah, we've been having the same problem this morning, so I believe it's just too much content that we put in this episode. I planned a lot to talk about, so what I've done is I've kind of cut things down, so things can work a bit better. That's the goal in terms of running this program more smoothly, and it, fingers crossed right now, seems to be working rather smoothly. But Tyson Ramsey, head coach and general manager of the Virden Oil Capitals, will be joining the show in a pre-recorded interview. We're going to get into MJHL news and stats, as well as stats from around the Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League, the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, and Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League, as well as diving in a bit to a tournament that was played, a highly anticipated tournament that's held annually at the Hockey for All Center, formerly the Iceplex, the Female World Sports School Challenge that was held between some of the best AAA and prep school teams from around the country. So that's all coming up today for this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Better late than never, I like to say, and hoping that things just run smoothly in this episode. Tyson Pruden joining the show, or not Tyson Pruden, Tyson Ramsey, head coach of the Virden Oil Capitals, and their general manager joining the show next. It's head coach of the Virden Oil Capitals in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, Tyson Ramsey, joining this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Tyson, this Oil Kings team, or Oilers Capitals team right now, my apologies, in a battle for fourth place, tied right now with Waste Capital, the Wolverines, in the standings. I know that you just got back from the MJHL, SJHL showcase. We'll start off with that first off, how it ended up going. Saw that the MJHL came away with a big win in that 15-round shootout to close it out.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. I think the kids, our kids, from a team perspective, the four guys that we had did a really good job, and the event itself was great. We got off to a bit of a slow start with the SJ win in the first couple of games on Tuesday, but then I thought all three teams did a real good job um, getting better and understanding the pace and the competitiveness that we had to play with, and then we had a real good day Wednesday. So real good exposure for the kids that went, and a real great event for our league and also for the SJHL and the collaboration between the two leagues to get something like this underway is really nice to see, and we hope it's an annual event moving forward.
Big time too, like you said, that after starting off the tournament slow, these teams able to finish off strong. What do you feel like that says about the talent overall in this league, given that not only is there high-end hockey talent, but also that resiliency within that?
Yeah, I think in both leagues, the MJHL has a good group of. We saw firsthand with my team there, the younger group, the future is bright, and then I thought our older guys really did a good job of understanding how they needed to play in that event. The SJ plays maybe a little bit heavier game than the MJ has, and but I feel like our teams are maybe a little bit quicker here in Manitoba. So I think we did a really good job of understanding that and conveying that to the players, and that there was some pride in the event, and you want to showcase our league well, and it's not an all-star event. We wanted guys to compete hard, and I thought the coaching staffs did a great job. Like I said, relaying that to the kids, and they really bought in, and the second day was quite a bit better, obviously. So yeah, just a really good event overall for everybody, and I thought our three teams did a great job.
Yeah, and I mean, like the MJHL last season, seeing, the Wentworth Flyers making it to the national tournament. And of course, they're one of the top teams this year. We got Steinbach, who's among the top teams. Portage, of course, your team, the Virden Oil Capitals, in a playoff spot. So much talent in this league so far this year. And Virden, although under 500, still in playoff contention, of course. Yeah, tell me about, I guess, how this season's been going so far, the ups and downs for this Virden squad.
Yeah, it's I think when we had an older group, a veteran group last year, and one of the better groups that we've had here in the last number of years, and so when you have a group like that, sometimes the next year tends to be a little bit younger, and we understood that with losing some of our guys, not just to age, but some guys that moved on to the Western Hockey League, and we were going to have a younger group to start the season, and that's what it was, and although the first half probably didn't go the way we wanted it to, we understood that there was going to be some growing pains, and it sure gave our younger bodies some, throwing them right into the fire, so to speak, and getting a chance to log minutes right away. And that's how kids at this level get better, is by playing. So although our record was under 500, it gave our rookie guys and our veteran guys that got thrust into some roles that maybe they weren't in last year, it gave them some real good time to adjust and do the things that they do, and understand the things that they needed to do to be successful. So and then we get to the Christmas break, and just before that, and then of course the trade deadline right after, and we're still in a playoff spot. So we decided that we were maybe going to add a couple of pieces to try to get us over the hump and get us into the playoffs. And this group or organization has shown before that if you get in, just get in. Good things can happen. 2 years ago, we took a team that kind of just got into the playoffs and went to the final. So, we've added five guys here in the last month that have really added to our group, and we're really excited about where our team is at right now at this point.
Yeah, and of course, last season, this team finished atop of the East Division standings. This season, of course, a bit different, of course, now in the fight for that last playoff spot. But like you said, like coming off such a successful season with the amount of older talent that that team had. Speaking about the young talent this season in terms of, I guess, maybe the areas of the game that you've seen really improve in a number of players or just the whole team overall as they've been getting into the swing of things here in the MJHL?
Yeah, I think when younger guys or new guys, fresh faces come to this league, if they come from leagues below, whether it's the U18 league or high school or U17, the biggest adjustment for them is the speed of the game and obviously the size and skill of the opponent. So I think our if you look at our record aside, the younger guys that are our first year players, new to our group, I think if you look at them, we took some video of them at the start of the year in September and some now, there'd be a huge difference. They've all done a great job getting quicker and doing things faster and understanding that sometimes the game just needs to be simple and there's a physicality involved that you have to have in order to be successful every day or you're left behind. So the competitiveness of this league and the busyness of the schedule and being on the ice every day and being in the gym every second day and dry land every other day and those kinds of things that they don't maybe get the luxury to do at the U18 level in terms of a schedule. So, that's an adjustment for anybody that's new to the league and particularly the young guys that just come in. So I think, there's been improvement in all areas for all of those guys individually and of course, as a group here.
Yeah, and I mean, this gets talked about as a developmental league as well, right? Because this is kind of one stop in the road for many players, as we've seen in the past, that have gone on to have collegiate careers, even players that have been able to sign NHL contracts. I guess in seeing the improvement with your own eyes, like you talked about just now, seeing that development, how much pride does it put in you as a head coach and a developer at that as a head coach at that position?
Yeah, I think that's this league we feel like is a stepping stone to to bigger and bigger things for these kids and a stop on their career path. So yeah, that's always in the back of your mind. You always want to develop guys and improve your own club and do as well as you can. But you're obviously trying to prepare some of these kids for the next level and whatever that looks like for them, whether it's the NCAA or the Western Hockey League or whatever the case may be. So yeah, we've had some pretty good success with kids moving on and kids like Zach Whitecloud and Tyler Kirkup and those kids come to mind. Bryce Bryant, who's currently on our team and is committed to Bemidji. So there's some success stories there, and now with that rule changing that the NCAA can have kids that have played in the CHL, we've got a number that have moved on to the Western Hockey League that we're proud of. Few guys there from last year's team, Cole Slobodian and Nolan Chasko and Evan Greening, and those kids are doing great things with those teams, and we're as much as it's nice to have those guys spend a couple of years here, we're sure happy to have them move on to higher levels and see the success they're having and feel good about being a small part of them doing what they do best. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see and always something in the back of our minds that we want to help kids prepare for that next level, whatever that may look like.
Yeah, and I forget who it was who said it, but he said one of the biggest benefit as a head coach is if you see players year in and year out that are, advancing up the ranks. It's you're doing something right as a program, and for the Virden Oil Capitals, obviously, throughout the history of their time, have seen a bunch of their players go off to do some pretty great things in the world of hockey. As for the present, though, this 2024-2025 Virden Oil Capital squad. Most recently, with a huge win, snapping a three-game losing streak, and that coming against the division-leading Dauphin Kings 4-2. Going to be facing off against them again tomorrow. But for this squad, given that coming into that matchup against the top team,
Sorry, my light time's out here sometimes.
no, no worries, no worries. I thought I lost you for a minute, but yeah, going up against that top team and being able to take them down in Dauphin, given that this team was on a three-game losing streak, how truly huge was that for this club's mojo, their morale in the room?
Yeah, I think if you look at the last week here, it's been kind of the lowest part of the valley and then one of the highest peaks. So we had a Winnipeg Freeze team come in here and play hard against us and lost that one in overtime. And then go up against the top team in our division and have a real good game, probably one of our better games throughout the course of the season. And yeah, it was a huge boost for our group, and just understanding some of the things that we need to do to be successful against those top teams. I felt like against the Freeze, we turn the puck over too much and just don't look after it, just don't manage it, and they were a little bit faster than us and a little bit heavier than us, and so we talked about just simplifying our game and not making things too difficult, and I thought we did a really good job of that against Dauphin, and felt like over the course of the game we outworked them and kind of took things over in the latter part of the game just by being simple and being heavy and just playing in the north direction. So like you said, real good confidence booster and for our group, and then the best teams are able to replicate that and do it again and be consistent with it. So another good test against that same team tomorrow when they roll into Virden. So we'll see if we learned anything and see if we can take any of that stuff forward into tomorrow's game.
Given that there's 18 games remaining in this regular season, there'll be 17 after tomorrow's game is played against Dauphin. But the emphasis on the games and the importance, still not trying to look too far ahead, though, given that this team is in a tight playoff race right now, tied with Wayway Capo. How, as a coach, would you say that you kind of handle that situation, given that, this group wasn't in this spot last year and is going to be in a fight for that last playoff spot, it looks like, for all the rest of the way here?
Yeah, I think we just can't get too far ahead of ourselves. I think, and it's something we've talked about all year. We just have to look forward to the next day and try to get better each and every day. So, building at practice throughout the week and looking no farther to the first period and even just our first shift tomorrow night, making sure the way we need to play is there right from puck drop, and the game that we play is right, and sticking to structure and not scoreboard watching and making sure that we're doing the right things no matter where we are in the game and what situations we're at. So it has to be that way for us when you're tied for a playoff spot and everything is so tight. You got to have a short memory and things aren't going to go perfect. And we understand that. So you got to, the ones that don't go right, you got to put that aside and learn from it and be ready for your next opportunity. So that's our mindset here. And, it's no different every day at practice, and just trying to do something to make yourself a little better every day and being ready for the game opportunities when they come up. And no matter who we're playing, we know that there's a certain way that we have to play. And, so we'll see how we start tomorrow night.
Yes, and for this Virden squad, as Tyson mentioned, as we just mentioned here collectively, taking on the Dauphin Kings in their home arena for Virden in the Tundra Oil and Gas Place. Then going to be finishing off their weekend in Winnipeg against the Winnipeg Blues at the Hockey for All Center on February 2nd. Their head coach in Tyson Ramsey joining this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Coach, best of luck this weekend coming up in the rest of the way here. Hoping to see Virden back into the playoffs.
Thank you very much, Graham. I really appreciate it.
And Tyson Ramsey, head coach of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League's Virden Royal Capitals, joining this edition of the MJHL podcast. And of course, his week last week might have been a bit busier than usual since he was a part of the MJHL and SJHL's showcase, U18 showcase that was held in Winnipeg. As we can see there, the top headline was, the U18 Whites outlasting the U18 Blue team from the SJHL in a 15-round shootout win 2-1 to end up winning the first annual series in 2025, 4-2 over Team Saskatchewan As mentioned, Team Manitoba, or the MJHL teams rather, started off the tournament 0-2, but then rattled off 4 straight wins to take it. So congratulations to all the prospects from throughout the MJHL for coming through, and to all the prospects in general from both leagues for participating. I think this is a great thing that the MJ has started in collaboration with the SJHL. We're going to send it to a commercial break. We're going to be showing you some highlights as well throughout this episode from a league in particular that we live stream games from, to just kind of open the door to people who may not know that we live stream U18 AAA hockey in the Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League. But yeah, coming up next, we're going to be getting into a whole bunch of news from around Manitoba Hockey Leagues, more so specifically the stats and standings from around different leagues here in the province, and the amateur hockey scene coming up next on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast on gshow.ca on gshow Productions. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And welcome back to this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, everybody. As you just saw there on the promo screen, Tyson Ramsey, head coach and general manager of the Virden Royal Capitals, joined this edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast from the MJHL. Of course, as we take a look at the standings, his Virden Royal Capitals right now 2 points up with a game in hand over Sakapo, the Wolverines. Virden currently this season with a negative 11 goal differential for last year's West Place Division champions. It's been more of a battle this season, of course. As mentioned, the Steinbach Pistons, they fell recently to fall to third in the standings, losing to the Portage Terriers. So Portage now up on them in the tiebreak, the head-to-head. As both teams are only 2 points behind Winkler, but Winkler with a comfortable 3 games in hand on all 3 of those teams. As these have been the scores for the past few days in the league. Here's how February ended up starting off. As mentioned, Portage with a victory over Steinbach recently, yesterday winning 4-3. As for Portage, also a 6-2 win over the Winnipeg Freeze. For the Virden Royal Capitals, I mean, what better way to respond than with an 8-0 win over the division-leading Dauphin Kings. As for Virden, they also end up taking a crucial victory, of course, to maintain their spot over Sakapo, which for the Wolverines, a crucial loss for them against the Niverville Nighthawks yesterday. As these are the points leaders in the MJHL. Connor Paranuzzi continues to lead the way with 62 points in 43 games played. Christian Green continues to lead the way in wins with 24 in the league. Liam Ernst 1 win behind him. However, as we can see there, the goaltending statistics can be found at mjhlhockey.ca. And by the way, Christian Green comes from Bothwyn, Pennsylvania. So, yeah, coming from quite a ways away, but lighting it up over here down in Manitoba for his Steinbach Pistons. Already showed you that. I want to show you this, though. The players of the month in the MJHL for January have officially been released, as it's going to get to the list of players that ended up winning awards. As for The RBC Player of the Month, that was Caden Glover for Dauphin. He ended up putting up 15 points in 8 games played. The Safe Work Manitoba Defenseman of the Month, Matthew Hahn. Also for the Dauphin Kings, at a point per game, 8 points in 8 games played this month. Goaltender Liam Ernst, earning Goaltender of the Month, original 16 Goaltender of the Month, as he had 6 wins in his 6 games played with 2 shutouts and a .939 save percentage. Chevrolet Rookie of the Month goes to Tristan Gravener of the Portage Terriers, 10 points in 9 games played. And then Manitoba Peak Performer, Nolan Nanau, 15 points in 10 games played. For four-born Portage Terrier forward, taking that home as all those awards presented by those sponsors in the MJHL. As for the Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League, the Brandon Wheat Kings remain atop of the standings, 3 points up on the Winnipeg Wild, but it sure is close as we can see there. A bit more separation near the top of the standings there from the top 3 to the top 4, or the 4th place team, as the Bruins are 9 points up on the Southwest Cougars with 3 games in hand on Southwest. Yellowhead and Central Plains continue to battle at the bottom of the standings to see who ends up not being the last place team this season. As for the way that February started here in the league, the Winnipeg Wild, that's the unofficial final. I'm not sure what the holdup is there, but outside of that game, there were some pretty close games in the past few days in this league. Of course, Brandon winning 9-6 in a bit of a barn burner against Pembina Valley. The Norman North Stars with a huge 9-2 win over Central Plains. So some of the scores, yes, a bit skewed, but overall, some pretty close matchups in there. Central Plains starting off with a 4-3 victory over Norman on Saturday to start off the weekend. So, yeah, some parity in the league as we can see there, as well as taking a look at the stats leaders. Ludovic Perreault continues to lead the way in points, actually tied with Luca Pira, as the 2 Wild forwards, Perreault and Pira, have been big time for this team. Carter Homesen, Tyler Rambolt, and Lyndon Gould all tied there with 60 points. Homesen and Gould, Southwest Cougars teammates. Justin Perreault of the Winnipeg Wild continues to lead the way here for goaltenders in wins. Right behind him, though, with 2 less in way less games played, Brady Lowe, rookie goaltender for Brandon Wheat Kings. Zach Matheson, another rookie that's in this top 5 with 16 wins, tied there with Lowe. Be sure to check out the full statistics from this league on their website. I believe it's mbu18aaa.com. I don't even want to use the internet right now on my computer to look this up, because I feel like it's just going to make this whole stream slow, and the big goal is to just get through this here. But let's get into some Winnipeg High School Hockey League news now, shall we? Starting off with talking about the standings in the Platinum Promotions Division, the Free Press Division, as well as the Price Division. Vincent Massey, they remain atop of the Platinum Promotion Division standings. Oak Park going to end up most likely finishing second if they're able to take care of business. Westwood, of course, 4 points behind them, and a full win guarantees 3 points in this league. Vincent Massey is going to be clinching first place in this division. As for the Free Press Division, though, it's going to be a bit more interesting down the line here in the last few games to see who ends up getting first place. Teams play a total of 24 games, so there's still some opportunity, as we can see there, with Garden City only up by 5 points for teams like Johnson Bay and even the Belleville Barracudas to catch them. But outside of that, I don't think anything else really going to change there in the top 3. As for Louis Riel, on their way to winning first place in the Price Division, if they're able to keep this up. The Warren Wildcats, though, they're not going to make it easy, as they're only 4 points behind them with the same amount of games left to be played, which is 4. We'll be keeping an eye on that in the upcoming weeks. As for the Platinum Promotion Division standings, Nolan Fielding continues to lead the field here with 64 points in 22 games played. A tie between Gavin Salamacha and Luke Turcotte for or no, my apologies. Can't read, obviously. That's evident here, as Salamacha 2 points up over Luke Turcotte in the point totals there. Apo Tuominen continues to lead the way with an impressive goals against average, 3 shutouts and a 930 save percentage this season in the Platinum Promotions division. And honestly, the most impressive things about what ended up happening here in this division in terms of the points races was it was a 7-point week for Sylvester and an 8-point week for Fielding for them to continue to be top 2 in the stats leaderboards. The biggest points jump, though, came from Aiden Spence, 16 points last week in 3 games played. Congratulations to Aiden Spence on a phenomenal week. His teammate Samuel Matre, who's been in this top 5 for pretty much all season long, at second there, as you can see. The goaltending leaders there as well. Sebastian Agura with only 1 loss on the season and 3 shutouts, as you can see there. Not the best save percentage in this division, though. Belleville, a big part of their success has been the goaltending of Avery Seawalk, and a 919 save percentage with an 8-4 record. Pretty darn good for the Kudos goaltender. As for Division 3, well, Luca Tatro continues to dazzle as he sits atop of the leaderboards. It's been this way for pretty much the whole season. 1 point away from the 80-point mark, as he's got the most points out of any player in the whole Winnipeg High School Hockey League with all three divisions combined. Dallas Shaver continues to lead the way here and wins in this division. Just kidding, it's Merrick Sobko, who leads the way and wins. Shaver with the best goals against average in this division. Undefeated goaltender in Louis Riel Voyageurs, Hunter Hyman, continues to impress here as the season goes along. For all the full statistics, be sure to visit the Winnipeg hshl.ca website for more details. We're going to get into the Manitoba Female High School Hockey League now, as Glen Long continues to lead the way in Division 1. They're going to be the first place team. I think that's set in stone at this point. As for Sanford, the Sabres, their female program been fantastic this season. Phenomenal. Only 1 loss as well, with 52 points. And then for the Dakota Lancers, they still remain atop of the standings, 1 point up on Murdoch and McKay. As for the stats in all of these divisions from the players, we're going to start with Division 3, I guess. Eve Kubesh for Murdoch McKay. And in fact, there's 4 out of 6 players on this list that are Murdoch McKay players, as there's a tie for 5th. We got that one right. I'm happy about that. But goaltending-wise, Dakota, big part of why they've been so good this season has been the play of Elizabeth Peary and Leah Donner, as Donner only has 1 loss, as you can see there, out of Peary's 8 wins, 5 shutouts. So fantastic stuff there from the Dakota tandem. As for Division 2 stats, Ella Speechley only 1 point behind Serena Reed for the leading points, as the Selkirk Royals and John Taylor Pipers forwards are going to be battling out until the end of the season for that point total. Same with the players down below, as there's not much separation here in the top 5 in Division 2. As for the goaltenders, very impressive records, as we can see here. The Sanford Sabres, my goodness, their goaltending has just been sensational this year. 2 goaltenders with under 1 goals against averages, which is absurd. 7 shutouts combined, and both north of 925 save percentages, as you can see there. Impressive stuff from the Sanford Sabres female program. Big reason why they're atop of the standings. As for Division 1, the Rigaud twins continue to shine. Callie Lavalley also in this top 5 with third most goals, as we can see there. Peyton Duran leading the way in goals in this top 5. Delaney Rigaud 1 behind her. But yeah, they've been really a force to be reckoned with this Glen Long Lions team. They've been, the players that have kind of been driving the bus on this year's squad, and that's been evident in just the statistics, as we can see there. Making A lot of noise in this year's Division 1 stats leaderboards. As for Celeste Pelletier, she continues to make noise in the pipes as this season goes along. 13 wins in 17 games played and 8 shutouts. Absolutely phenomenal. Full statistics can be seen on the Manitoba Women High School Hockey League's website at mwhshl.ca. Before we get into the Female World Sports School Challenge stats, which we're going to end off this episode with, we're going to send you to some highlights from our Manitoba Female Hockey League broadcasts. Coming up next here from the Winnipeg Ices, well, one of their most recent wins in MFHL action, as a lot to come on the ice coming up next year as, well, you can say they're feeling a big golden today and yesterday, I guess, since they played in yesterday's gold medal match. Spoiler alert, they end up winning the Female World Sports School Challenge. Gonna get into how they ended up doing that coming up next year on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, but first up, we got some highlights to show you. Stick around, everybody.
Well, good evening, Manitoba Female Hockey League fans, and welcome into another edition of MFHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. I'm your host, Graham, the G-Show. Forsyth to the direction of Sire, that off the stick in front for the Interlake Lightning, and picked up by Chavlik. Takes a big hit, no call on the play. It's recovered by the Interlake Lightning, but stripped away right again by Aaliyah Texier for the Winnipeg Ice. This gets loose to her, scores! For the Interlake Lightning, what looked like it could have been a routine clearing attempt wasn't the case, as the Winnipeg Ice with a good forecheck to create the turnover all the way to the point. It'll be right back to Carvalho, but gets by her, down low to Cairns, out front to Carvalho, gets open, backhand denied by Sugimoto, but failed to get a pass successfully to Chablik. Yanchishin fails to clear it out as this stripped away. Heading towards the net, Nicholas or no, Wozdesensky unable to finish on the deke. Plays this down low off the boards. This turned over onto the stick. Number 6, I believe, Chloe Nicholas draws a penalty on the play as she's hauled down by Thiessen. On the back check, are we going to get a penalty shot here coming up, folks? I believe we will. It'll be Chloe Nicholas on to take it. She comes in, and Dangle scores! Number 6 keeps the party rolling here for the Winnipeg Ice. 2-0 lead. On a move where she just freezes Sugimoto. This face-off won by the Interlake Lightning. Shelby Staples unloads that shot out in front, but a nice Winnipeg Ice defensive stick to eliminate that. Puck sent down low. A good kill here for the Interlake Lightning. Stripped away again. Winross heading towards the net, looking at Dangle, but Platt denies her with that left pad. To an outlet girl. This tries to be stretched up by Interlake, but they can't get it out. Working towards the net, Nicholas looking for number 2 on the night, but will be denied. As it settled down and played down low on a Robbins stick. Robbins up top to the point to Carvalho, across to Lazarenko, surveying her options, sends it towards the net, rebound, scores! This gets sent all the way back into the Winnipeg Ice end now, where Oto will try to play this up, but nice job by Interlake to clog up the boards, wide open in the slot, but can't get that to go. It's the Winnipeg Ice. Look to get a step. It's Nicholas who does. Looking for 2 on the night. Dangles. Oh, denied by Sugimoto. Right on the doorstep. Rebound picked up behind the net by Carvalho. Tries to play it to Nicholas and gets it there. Nicholas walks in on tight and turned aside. That backhand chance. 2 for 2 for Sugimoto right now. Cross ice for Mann. It's at the point. Mann tries to chip this pass, ends up getting the puck anyways, plays it down low. It's back to Mann now. She unloads a shot. Rebound there. Sugimoto denies. Made 20 stops on 23 ice shots here tonight. The Ice, speaking of, work in possession. This gets to the D. And now across again, Texier winds up. That shot scores! It's number 2 second of the game. And it gives this Winnipeg Ice team their second power play goal on the night. D goes to Jan Chishin. Jan Chishin's pass, though, on the breakout misses. Picked off by Carvalho. Played towards the net. Cairns poked away. And sent onto the stick of Minkus. Her shot unable to get through. Another chance there out in front, but denied by Plett. Which is puck in the back of the net. Still shut out in this one. Winnipeg walking into the zone, out into the slot. Somehow that gets onto the stick of Wostasensky. We're going to get a penalty coming up to this Interlake Lightning team. Stretch pass makes it up to Chloe Nicholas. Feeds it to Carvalho. Carvalho denied there at the front step by Sugimoto. Routine win in this year's season series for the Winnipeg Ice. Of course, last playing the Interlake Lightning on January 8th and beating them by 5-0. Well, they score one less here tonight. Winning by a score of 4-0.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. And welcome back to the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, Manitoba Hockey fans. We're going to end off this episode with talking about an annual female hockey tournament that just concluded yesterday at the Hockey for All Center, as it was the Female World Sports School Challenge held annually at the Hockey for All Center event hosted by St. Mary's Academy, where teams from many places in Manitoba come to play. We're talking about teams from U18 AAA and the Winnipeg Avros, the Yellowhead Chiefs, the Winnipeg Ice, the Westman Wildcats, and Interlake Lightning, who all played in this tournament. Teams like the Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg team, the St. Mary's Academy team, of course, and the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes. And then there was even teams from Ontario, like the Thunder Bay Queens. Just taking a look at the full list of teams here. Yeah, Sherwood Park Reign, the Northern Capitals, the Kings Edge Hill Highlanders. So teams from all over the place coming in to play in this tournament this season. Last season, the RHA Winnipeg squad ended up defeating the Winnipeg Avros in the final to claim the championship. And this season, it ended up being the Avros, the Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg squad back in the Final Four, as well as the Winnipeg Ice and Westman Wildcats. And just taking a look at how the standings ended up playing out, Westman finished atop of Pool A. RHA Winnipeg ended up beating the Winnipeg Ice 3-0 in their round-robin meeting, but the Ice were able to win back-to-back games afterwards to become a Final Four team, as the top four teams in general in all standings combined ended up making it. The best team throughout round-robin ended up being the Winnipeg Avros, who, as mentioned, made it all the way to the finals last year and lost in a close 2-1 matchup against RHA. But into the Final Four matchups, those ended up happening on Saturday morning. It would be heartbreak for the Winnipeg Avros, as their crosstown rivals, the Winnipeg Ice, would defeat them in overtime by a score of 2-1. For RHA, they would take care of business against the Westman Wildcats, as it would set up an RHA versus Winnipeg Ice final. And RHA went up 1-0 in this one, but the Ice would have a strong second period. They closed this out with a 5-4 victory to become the 2020 2025 Female World Schools, or the Female World Sports School Challenge champions. The Winnipeg Avros came away with the bronze medal with a 4-1 victory over the Westman Wildcats. A very strong showing from teams in the MFHL, as 3 of the Final 4 teams ended up being from that league. Strong showing from Manitoba overall, as all of their Final 4 teams ended up being from this province. Congratulations to RHA Winnipeg once again, a high-end program here in the province of Manitoba that, even though they fall short in the finals, able to come away with a second straight finals appearance. To make it back there again is special for a second year in a row, especially with how competitive and high level of teams play in this tournament. As for the Winnipeg Ice, that's just been a team that's been improving all season long. By the way, for those of you that don't know, they are back-to-back champs in the MFHL, looking poised for a three-peat at this point, to be honest with you. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But as for what the stats were, Rio Pierre's been the best player in Manitoba all year long, and she showed out again in this tournament. She is close to 80 points now in the MFHL with the Winnipeg Avros, well over 70 points. She put up 14 points during this tournament in only 5 games played, which is sensational. Izzy Mann, captain for the Winnipeg Ice, she was big time throughout this tournament, finishing top 5 in points. Peyton Chornley was no one better than her in the assist categories, as she finishes with 11 points, 7 assists within that. And Ivy Perkin, standout player from the Westman Wildcats, finishing second in goals and third in points, as we can see there. As for the goaltending, really great goaltending performances from a player in Maggie Shell this tournament, as we can see there. Save percentage, shutout, you name it. She was sensational. I guess in the one game that she played, Bailey Schwartz got the bulk of the starts for RHA, tied for the tournament lead in wins with 3. Gina Plett, an impressive performance from her in this tournament. Rookie goaltender for the Winnipeg Ice. What a tourney for her. 3 wins in there. Wasn't in the top 5 in save percentages, but was only one of 4 goaltenders who had a shutout. So congratulations to Gina and the rest of the players who ended up finishing among the top of the point leaderboards. But these were the All-Stars named in this tournament. 4 coming from the MFHL, as we can see there: Rio Pierre, Izzy Mann, Ivy Perkin, and Winnipeg Avros captain Evie West. St. Mary's Flames, number 20, Mullen M, being nominated on this All-Star team, and the Kings Edgehill team getting the goalie of the tournament nomination on this All-Star team. As pictured there, Izzy Mann and Rio Pierre. All pictures were taken by one of our new partners in Ice Wave Media. They do fantastic work in the provinces you may all be aware about if you have been following the U22 scene or the amateur hockey scene. They're probably the ones that are doing the bulk of the work in that scene. So fantastic, and excited to be able to partner with them. And they did a fantastic job covering that tournament. They also did all the live social media feeds, the updated scores, all that great stuff. So shout out to them and everyone over at the Female World Sports School Challenge Committee for putting on another great event. We're hoping to talk to one of their committee members coming up, maybe the one who put this whole thing together, on this week's edition of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, coming out on Saturday for episode 18, as that'll be our next edition of this podcast coming out this weekend. Hopefully not dealing with as many technical difficulties, as seems like it was pretty smooth sailing throughout this episode. We're going to hit a transition here, and then I'll be back for some final words on the official hockey podcast for Manitoba Hockey here in the province of Manitoba at the amateur level. Your host, Graham the gshow Forsyth, myself. We'll be back in just a moment here, everybody, to finish off this show. Well, you've made it to the end of the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for episode 17. I've been your host, Graham the gshow Forsyth. Thanks for tuning into this one, everybody. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like as well as subscribing, so not only will you help support our call us here, our YouTube channel, but you'll support our network. You'll be able to stay up to date if you subscribe and turn on notifications with when future episodes like this will come out, as well as all the rest of our content, as we got plenty of other podcasts coming out this week, plenty of game day broadcasts as well, so live streams from the MMJHL and Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League. We got 3 MFHL streams starting from Friday going into Saturday and then finishing off on Sunday, as it's the final weekend of regular season action in that league before we hit the playoffs. Super exciting times as gshow Productions. We're proud to announce that we will be the official broadcaster for the MFHL's playoffs, as well as the MMJHL's playoffs coming up starting in March. So exciting times here around the network. Also, if you end up liking this episode, it helps people find content like this in their algorithm that may be interested in it here on YouTube. So yeah, all of your support all makes the difference, and if you end up not doing any of those things, well, that's okay too. Just want to thank you all for tuning in to this one, as well as thanking Tyson Ramsey, head coach and general manager of the Virden Oil Capitals, for coming on and being the guest of this episode. More guests to come on episode 18 coming out this Saturday. You won't want to miss it, coming up on your home of hockey here in Manitoba on gshow Productions. Want to thank Terrico Goaltenders, McKenna Fasteners and Tools, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for sponsoring another edition of this show. Until Saturday, everybody, we'll see you again next time. Fingers crossed that there's going to be no technical difficulties. Until then, I've been your host, as I've said already, Graham the gshow Forsyth, giving you the peace out and waving so long, everybody, on this Monday morning. Have a fantastic week ahead for yourself. Have a safe weekend out there. Stay warm, as I gotta walk to work here soon, so it's gonna be a chilly one, I'm sure, as I was told by my mother. But yeah, hoping that everyone has a fantastic week ahead and you enjoy all the great hockey coming your way this week as well as on the weekend, everybody. It's exciting times here around Manitoba as playoffs are right around the corner. Manitoba hockey fans, we can't wait to cover all of it coming up here on the Manitoba Hockey Podcast. Until next time, we'll see you then.